What's going wrong with the Golden State Warriors right now? The Warriors are stuck in a tough spot, dropping 5 straight games after a great start to the season. What's wrong with them right now? The Golden State Warriors are struggling right now, sitting at 12-13 after dropping 5 straight games. Their latest loss came on December 3rd to the Denver Nuggets, 119-115, where they blew an 11-point lead in the final 6 minutes. Despite Stephen Curry putting up solid numbers, the team has failed to close games, and it's becoming a worrying trend. Injuries are a big factor. Here, Draymond Green was out with a calf injury for the Nuggets game, while Curry has been battling knee pain but played through it. With key players like that sidelined, the Warriors' defense and offense have both looked shaky. They've been unable to find a rhythm, and the lack of chemistry has been evident, especially in crunch time situations. 1. Injuries throwing off the Warriors' flow. Injuries have been a major headache for the Golden State Warriors lately, and it's hard to ignore the impact they've had. Stephen Curry has been dealing with knee pain, which has led to some missed games, and although he's played through it, you can tell he's not at his usual explosive level. Curry is averaging 22.6 points, 6.6 assists, and 5.6 rebounds this season, but he's not moving as freely as usual, which is a big deal for a guy whose whole game revolves around quick cuts and long-range shooting. The Warriors need him at 100%, but right now he's still fighting through it, and it's been clear in certain moments of games when he struggles to get into a rhythm. On top of Curry's knee issues, Draymond Green has been out with a calf injury, and his absence has been a huge blow to the Warriors. Green missed the December 3rd game against the Denver Nuggets, and his defensive presence was sorely missed. Without him on the floor, the Warriors' defense looked shaky, and star players like Nikola Jokic were able to torch them. Green is the heart and soul of the Warriors' defense, and without him, they struggle to stay locked in. But it's not just about defense. Green is the playmaker in the frontcourt, and without his ability to set the tone, Golden State's offense feels a little out of sync too. They've been lost without his leadership and versatility on both ends. Then there's the issue with De'Anthony Melton, who has been one of the Warriors' most underrated losses this season. Melton, who was expected to provide depth, especially on the defensive end, was sidelined with a knee injury that required season-ending surgery. He suffered a partial tear of his left ACL, which was diagnosed after an initial sprain. He was averaging 10.3 points, 3.3 rebounds, and 2.8 assists in the games he played, offering solid minutes off the bench. Without his defense and scoring off the bench, Golden State has been left scrambling for reliable contributors. These injuries are definitely taking their toll, and it's making it hard for the Warriors to find any kind of consistency as they continue to navigate through the season. 2. Defensive struggles holding them back. The Warriors' defense has been a major concern over the past few weeks, and the numbers really highlight just how much they've been struggling. Over the last 2 weeks, the Warriors ranked 10th in defensive rating, allowing an average of 115.6 points per 100 possessions. While that might not seem horrific, in today's NBA, that number is far from what you'd expect from a team with championship aspirations. Their defensive issues are even more glaring when you compare them to top contenders, who typically boast ratings in the 110s or lower. The Warriors' drop-off in defensive efficiency has been a huge reason behind their 5-game losing streak. A big part of the problem has been their inability to defend the three-point line. The Warriors are currently the 9th team that has allowed the most three-pointers over the last 5 games. Opponents have been able to shoot the ball effectively from beyond the arc, with Golden State ranking as the 7th worst team in defending the three-pointer in terms of shooting percentage allowed. This is a huge issue when you're trying to compete against high-powered offenses that rely on three-point shooting, and the Warriors have been paying the price for this lack of perimeter defense. To make things worse, the Warriors' bench defense has been equally troubling. Over the last 2 weeks, they've posted the 10th worst defensive rating from their second unit, meaning that when the starters rest, the team still struggles to get stops. This has forced the starting 5 to carry too much of the load, and it's evident that Golden State's bench players aren't contributing enough defensively. On top of that, the Warriors have the 10th worst defensive efficiency from the field, allowing opponents to shoot a high 47.7% from the field during this rough stretch. Whether it's guarding the paint or contesting shots from mid-range, the Warriors just haven't been able to get the stops they need. The combination of poor three-point defense, weak bench contributions, and lackluster overall defensive execution has been a huge problem for the Warriors. As of now, they're allowing too many easy looks, and the defensive breakdowns have come at the worst possible times, contributing to their recent struggles. With Draymond Green still recovering and the Warriors' defense lacking its usual edge, Steve Kerr's squad will need to make serious adjustments. Whether it's improving their rotations, focusing more on defensive fundamentals, or finding a better way to match up against opponent shooters, they'll need to get their defense back on track if they want to remain competitive in the Western Conference. 3. Offensive inefficiency, making things worse. The Warriors' offense has been a real headache lately, and it's obvious they just can't find their rhythm. Stephen Curry is still putting up solid numbers, but he hasn't been his usual self. In his last 5 games, Curry is averaging 22.3 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 6.8 assists, but he's only shooting 37.7% from the field and 35.3% from 3. While he's still one of the best scorers in the league, those usual explosive Curry performances are nowhere to be found, which is putting more pressure on the rest of the team. Andrew Wiggins has also had his moments, but hasn't been consistent. Over the last 5 games, Wiggins is averaging 17 points and 5.4 rebounds, but he's shooting just 39.1% from the field and 42.9% from 3. Not terrible, but it's not the level you need from a guy who's expected to be a two-way star. Jonathan Kuminga has shown flashes, averaging 16.7 points per game, but his shooting has been all over the place. He's hitting just 41.2% from the field and 26.7% from 3, which isn't helping take any of the load off Curry and Wiggins. Beyond that, the Warriors' overall shooting has been off. As a team, they're shooting just 33.4% from 3 during this stretch, which ranks them among the worst in the league. Without their usual sharp shooting, they've been forced to work much harder for points, and they just can't seem to get into their usual flow offensively. When shots aren't falling, they struggle to generate good looks, and that's been a big part of their offensive stagnation. On top of that, ball movement has been off. In their last 5 games, the Warriors have averaged just 25.1 assists per game, which is a drop from their usual 27 to 28 assists per game. This has led to too many forced shots and isolation plays, especially from Curry and Wiggins. The team has lost that fluid movement that makes their offense so dangerous, and as a result, their attack has become stagnant. 4. Rotation struggles. Too many guys, not enough rhythm. One of the biggest issues for the Warriors recently has been Steve Kerr's deep rotation. He's been running up to 13 players in and out of the lineup, hoping to keep everyone fresh. But honestly, it's just not working. The team has been struggling to find any rhythm with so many changes happening every game, and it's been messing with the team's flow. Stephen Curry has been vocal about it, saying the team needs to be more consistent with their rotations. "We probably need to be more predictable night in and night out so the guys can find a rhythm," Curry said, but Kerr is sticking with this deep rotation, arguing it's good for keeping players fresh, especially with the long season ahead. Sure, that makes sense, but at what cost? The team's chemistry is all over the place, and it's costing them games. Take the loss to the Nuggets, for example. Despite Curry's 24 points and 11 assists, the Warriors blew an 11-point lead in the final minutes. That's a clear sign that the lack of cohesion is a huge problem. They can't close out games like they used to. Then you've got guys like Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga who are getting heavy minutes, but they haven't been able to step up when it matters. In fact, Kuminga has been playing 28.5 minutes per game, averaging 19 points as a starter, but he's been inconsistent shooting, hitting only 33% from 3. And then you've got Lindy Waters III, who's been getting decent minutes, but let's be real, his production isn't anywhere near what they need from someone in his role. He's been playing more than Buddy Hield, who's only averaging 17.5 minutes per game. Even though Hield could provide a better scoring spark, it's pretty wild that Wiggins is getting more minutes than Curry lately, too. Wiggins has been averaging 33.1 minutes and 17 points, but his shooting hasn't been spectacular, with just 33.3% from 3. Meanwhile, Curry's been getting only 32 minutes per game. For a guy who's putting up 22.3 points and is your go-to scorer, it doesn't make sense for him to be playing fewer minutes than Wiggins. Bottom line? This deep rotation isn't working, and it's throwing off the team's rhythm. Kerr needs to tighten things up, reduce the lineup changes, and let his key players find some consistency if the Warriors want to get back on track. Underscore 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 5. Closing out games has been tough. The Warriors' struggles in closing out games have been glaring lately, and it's one of the main reasons they've been losing. Over the last 5 games, their clutch stats are brutal. They've been dead last in the league in clutch shooting with a horrendous 14.3% from the field. That's right, 14.3%. When the game is on the line, they just can't execute. It's tough to win when you can't even hit a shot in the final moments. It's not just the offense that's falling apart. Defensively, they've been a mess as well. Their plus-minus in clutch situations has been minus 5.8, which is 28th in the league. That means they've been getting outplayed by a wide margin when it matters most. On top of that, they're 23rd in points in the paint, PITP, which shows they've been getting bullied inside during the crucial moments of games. And as if that wasn't bad enough, they're shooting just 33.3% from 3 in clutch situations, ranking them 23rd in the league. That's a far cry from the elite three-point shooting the Warriors are known for. Just look at the recent loss to the Denver Nuggets. Up 11 points in the fourth, but they couldn't hold on. It's been happening all season long, and it's starting to become a real problem. Even when Curry is putting up big numbers, the team can't close it out. They're giving up easy buckets, missing key shots, and not executing in the clutch. This inconsistency in the final minutes is hurting them badly. The Warriors have the talent to win these games, but they've got to figure out how to play in the clutch. They need to get better defensively, execute better on offense, and make shots when the game is on the line. If they don't get this figured out, they'll keep losing tight games, which could really cost them down the stretch this season.